Welcome to the SBR NHL Play of the Day, the double play video for Saturday, November 23rd. I'm Ian Cameron, joined by Adam Booth as we are ready on a Saturday on a big, huge Saturday card, 14 games on the board, ready to deliver our plays of the day. And as you can see on the bottom of the screen right now, we have consensus. And for the very first time since we've been doing these videos, Adam and I landed on the same play. And the same team. Now, we don't discuss these before the show.
Nope.
We just come on. It's legitimately the 100% truth. I say what I like. He obviously mentions what he likes, and it just ended up being the same team and the same side. And if you've been watching this team lately, you can clearly see why we might maybe wanted to back this team today as they take to the ice. So we'll get right to it and start with it's a late game, so there's plenty of time. Definitely to get your bet in if you haven't yet. We've got the New York Islanders taking on the San Jose Sharks. Again, current odds based on SBRodds.com. Make sure you're using that every day for your placing your wagers so that you can get the best line and best price available. We've got pretty much even money on both sides here. Minus 110 Islanders, minus 110 Sharks in this game right now. And look, we have been talking about the Islanders multiple times on these videos lately because I think one of us has been involved in an Islander game either from a side or a total perspective recently. There's not much more that needs to be said that we really haven't already covered about, just the way this team is finding ways to win every single night in this 15-0-1 streak in their last 16 games. It's been absolutely a phenomenal run for them. And what's been impressive, Adam, with this team is they found different ways to win. Some nights they got to win a low-scoring 2-1, 3-2 type of game. They find a way to do it. And lately, because of Anthony Beauvillier and Brock Nelson and some of these forwards that have really stepped up their offensive production to help out, the likes of Matthew Barzal, who does get keyed on a lot by the opposition, they're now finding some goal scoring. And they've now put themselves in a position, or they've in recent games where even when they fall behind, the one issue we've had with the Islanders, or concern, I should say, not only last year, but coming into this year as well, is, well, if they're behind by 2 or 3 goals, do they have the offense to come back? And they've shown that on multiple occasions that right now, at least, with the form that their forwards are in, they do have the offense to come back from a deficit. They showed it again earlier this week and coming back to beat Pittsburgh. They came back from being down a couple of times in the rematch against the Penguins on Thursday night that took place in Brooklyn. Again, another 2 games in a row where they beat Pittsburgh in overtime, and it's the same guy scoring the overtime winning goal for the New York Islanders as well, that being Brock Nelson. The defense, solid as throughout this streak, as you would expect from a Barry Trotz team. Remember, Barry Trotz turned this team from worst goals against in the NHL to best goals against in the NHL 2 years ago to last year, and they've been very good at that end of the ice again. And I got to say, even Semyon Varlamov, I've ripped this guy for not being healthy and not being consistent, but he has been healthy. He has been pretty solid in net, and so is Thomas Greiss when he started. So this is a really good hockey team right now. I've made my points before how I'm not buying into what San Jose is selling. I know it's been a nice run for them lately, but they've caught some favorable matchups, some weaker opponents, some teams struggling at the time that they played them. Look at Vegas the other night. That's not a Vegas team that's played their best hockey the last week or two, and San Jose got them at the right time. Well, finally, in the midst of all of these wins and all of this perceived better play by the San Jose Sharks, they're finally going to play a team that's playing their best hockey at the current time, and that's the New York Islanders. And to be honest with you, I look at San Jose as a subpar defensive team compared to the Islanders. I certainly don't trust their goaltending from Martin Jones as much as I trust the Islanders. Believe it or not, the one edge you would probably say coming into the season, San Jose probably got a little more depth of offense forward-wise. Maybe not so much the case now. They've battled injuries a couple of times this year. The New York Islanders, as I just mentioned, they're getting that secondary scoring. This is going to be San Jose's biggest test of the season. And, I like the fact that it's the first game of a road trip here for the Islanders. That's always a bet on spot for a lot of teams. They want to put that good foot forward, their best effort on the ice at the very beginning of that road trip, get the road trip started in a positive note, positive environment. So I think you're going to get pretty solid effort performance tonight from the Islanders. And, if they bring that same type of performance they have lately. It's been good enough to beat their last, 15 of their last 16 opponents. And I think it'll be more than good enough to beat the San Jose Sharks. Now, let's keep in mind, I've sort of ridiculed this team as well for feasting on home ice and not really being the best road team in the past. That's not been the case this year. 6-1 for the New York Islanders on the road this season. They've been a very good road team. I think they got a chance to once again prove how good of a road team they are tonight. So I like the New York Islanders here. Minus 104 against the San Jose Sharks for my play of the day. And clearly, Adam, as I pass the mic to you, you're in agreement here.
I am. And I was wondering because when I was working on this spot earlier, it's of course in my article, I was thinking, I was reminded of when you took the Buffalo Sabres against the Sharks last month. It was early in our season. And you weren't buying into the Sharks then, and Buffalo had the hot hand at the time, and they were coming, cross country, and it just crossed my mind that this is very much a similar type of situation. We're not getting the Islanders at the plus 140, but how could you ever say something like as though they would ever be priced there? So I mentioned not all hot teams are equal, and that's something that is always important to pay attention to. San Jose has won 5 of the last 6, I believe. But as you said, and this isn't something we should get in the habit of, yes, those teams, 3 of them or 4 of them were not playoff teams last year. They split with the Oilers. And then they got the big win against Vegas the other night. That's an emotional win. Sometimes it's, again, good to look at teams that come off a win like that. But equally, Islanders are off 2 back-to-back overtime wins against their divisional rivals. So in that form of a spot, I don't put too much weight to the Islanders mentally maybe being a bit more focused. It's not easy going cross-country, I will say that. The time zone difference, it's the last game of the day, so it's 10:30 p.m. Eastern. That's very late, and that can have an effect on the daily routine of a team. But again, when we look at this, the pricing of the teams today, you say, if you remove the New York Islanders name, you sort of took away all the players' names and you replaced it with any other roster in the league, especially, one like a Pittsburgh or a Tampa or Washington. You said they've won 15 of 16 points in all 16. They have the lowest goals against in the league, which is under 2 a game. Phenomenal at even strength. No, that's total, I think. Let me just make sure I'm saying that right. Let me pull it up here. The Islanders have allowed 49 goals against in 20 games. So phenomenal. And at even strength, they've allowed 38 goals. So they're allowing almost, it's phenomenal. It's under 2 goals a game. That's all you could ever ask for of a defense. And when we say defense, we mean the forwards contributing to that, the goalies playing well. It's a full team effort to put numbers up like this. And you compare it to a San Jose Sharks team that has allowed 79 goals against in 23 games. And at even strength, they are worse in the league, 68 goals. And so this is, on the defensive end, this is polar opposites. I will say the one thing San Jose has going in their favor is they have a 90% penalty kill. So if they do get penalized a lot, though. They're the second most penalized team in the league. So you kind of have to have, when you talk about penalty kill percentages, all you're doing, you're going to let in some goals shorthanded. It's going to happen even against sub 500 power plays. However, you just talk about the prevalence over consistent games. How often are they leaking goals on the penalty kill? So I don't expect the special teams for the New York Islanders to win this game for them. I'm looking at a much more sound defensive team in good form. They're not on a back-to-back, and they're coming in against San Jose, who I think is a bit of I have yet to say that they are the real deal this season. I mean, a win today and maybe a dominant win would go a long way to convince me. But I am on the New York Islanders money line, and it took me 5 minutes of looking at some of the metrics, and I have the Islanders at 54% today. It was just, I say it's straightforward in the sense that, again, you remove the name bars on this team, and you would say most of the top 10 teams, if this is the Leafs, or if this is Nashville, if this is any team that you were expecting preseason to be a contender for the Cup, with this kind of record, with these kind of numbers, a 92 save percentage compared to the 88 of the Sharks, you say, how can I not take the Islanders here? So that is the summary of why I'm on it. I go on to a couple other reasons in the article, but Ian, you laid out your reasons well. And I think, again, we were talking about approaching a game from different handicapping perspectives. We still have different handicapping perspectives, but we've come to the same team from that. And I think it makes it a stronger play. It's the first time this year that we're on the same spot. So, yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully that only strengthens the hit rate here.
Yeah, and New York Islanders again. If I use something else other than the Islanders as my play of the day, I'd be lying, because this was my favorite play. This was clearly your favorite play, and hey, that might happen once in a while. Again, we don't want it to happen every single day or every week, but again, sometimes it's going to happen. Adam's favorite play was the Islanders, and so was mine, and we hope they can get it done here tonight. Just an incredible run by this New York Islanders team. Obviously, there's going to be some leveling off at some point with the Islanders. You're not going to keep up a streak like this indefinitely or forever, but I definitely hope they can prolong the winning at least for one more night tonight as they take on the San Jose Sharks. It's a busy card. I'll just throw out a couple out there. I know you want to talk about Nashville, St. Louis a bit and rant a bit about that, but I'll throw out a couple that I was looking at that I considered for a play of the day. Certainly Toronto's on the list, again, against Colorado. You saw just how much better and just confident, holding on to pucks longer, putting them in better areas, not putting their defense and compromising them by just putting the pucks in areas where they're turning it over and fueling the offense of the other team. They were so much better, even in just one game under the new coach. They were so much better at doing that against Arizona. Colorado returns home off a long road trip, still banged up beyond belief. They fought the good fight, Colorado. They really have. I mean, they've still found ways to win games, but they look like they ran out of gas against Minnesota. And the wins even
that's
before
a great
that,
way to put it.
Yeah, they ran out of gas. And even before that, the wins came against Calgary, who was struggling, Vancouver, who was struggling before they beat Nashville the other night. So, again,
they got smoked by Edmonton as well.
Yeah, they feasted on some teams that were struggling at the time. I think they're going to have their hands full tonight with this, what looks to be a rejuvenated Leaf team. I'm going to ride Florida over the total one more time. That was the other one I considered. That team is just an over machine right now, Florida. You see them. They're never out of a game. 4-0 down. They come back to beat Anaheim 5-4. And that was my play of the day for Thursday. Almost considered that for today, but Carolina, Florida over, I do like that, even though I didn't use it for play of the day. All right, Adam, Nashville, St. Louis. You wanted to talk about the Predators specifically.
I was just going to quickly. Oh yeah. What makes me so? This is one of those. Here's what grinds my gears. One of those kind of segments from Family Guy, or whatever it was. I was just going to say quickly though, I am on the Leafs today. I like what you said, and I in the post game, my post game analysis. I'm not talking about those cliche Leafs media post game analysis. The Leafs were the better team in so many areas of the ice on Thursday. They deserved that win. And I saw a little clip of the post-game locker room, Keefe walking in, giving the player of the game, Tavares making a little pep talk there. Love seeing that. The energy looked good. And I think, it's unfortunate that for me, that the Leafs won the previous one, because I am on them against the Avs today, but I think we would have got a little bit of a better price. And I think the Avs is the type of team they could pick on for an even better. I mean, I got them at plus 105. But I think the Avs are in a worse place than the Coyotes right now. So that was what I was talking about Thursday. But Leafs, I love the reason you laid out there. But Predators, Blues. What is going on with the Predators? I mean, I mentioned that. So they get that dominant win against Detroit 6-1, and now they've gone on a 6-game slide. And the losses are ugly. And I think that's just adding to how we see them. It was the 5 out of 6 power play goals for the Canucks the other night. I was on back-to-back games for the Predators here. I had 3 or 4 plays per game on each of them, and just seeing them dominate, the high danger chances, the shot totals, but every time both the Jets and Canucks seem to get something going on the other direction, they capitalize, and that's the way hockey will go. And that could happen with our Islanders play tonight too. They could dominate all the offensive statistics except the scoreboard. So
exactly. Could happen in any game.
It could happen in any game, absolutely.
Yep.
So tonight I am on the full game over 5.5. I just don't see whether Saros or Rene is in. I just don't see the Predators is clicking. I mean, sometimes getting on the road can help a team. I think the Predators could be a very live team to finally break the dam and pot 4 of their own. But there's no way I shouldn't say no way. Nothing's ever no way. But I don't see a shutout here for Nashville. I think the Blues, they're in a homestand right now. They look good against Tampa. I mean, sure, it was a close one, but they did what they needed, kept it low scoring. And then they were 1 goal short of potting 6 for the over against Calgary, who is also having struggles. Predators are in that same boat as Calgary right now. Yes, there might not be shut out 3 of their last 6 games. However, they're having defensive issues constantly. So I love the plus money on the over 5.5 today. It's not a fade Nashville spot, but it's very difficult to. I think the Predators just. I don't know what's going on, Ian. Maybe you could let me know. It just seems bizarre that they're letting in 5 against the Canucks, 7 against the Blackhawks. They can't get more than 1 against the Jets, and then 5 of 6 on the power play come from the power play the other night. I mean, what's your opinion of this team?
Well, defensively, they've been really poor. But I think Pekka Rinne's had a large part of it, too. When you have a near 5 goals against, well, that's the thing. Pekka Rinne, when he's good and he has these hot zones, he's almost unstoppable. But then when he's bad, he's really bad. And he's really bad right now. I mean, he's got a north of 5 goals against average in his last 6 games. That's not good enough. That's absolutely horrendous, hideous numbers. Yeah. But the problem is, I've seen enough of his backup, UC Saros, to know that's not a guy I rely on or can count on. He's been mediocre at best. His goals against and save percentage are nothing to write home about either. So there's a problem here for Nashville. The reason they've been a good defensive team over the years is because they've played well in front of their goalies. Yeah. And the goalies have been able to do just enough. Now the defense in front of those goalies may not be as good this year. Remember, Yossi's a year older, Ekholm's a year older. Ellis has had a lot of wear and tear on his body.
They waved goodbye to Subban, who is more offensive, but still, it's a talented depth.
It's the minutes you miss.
Absolutely.
It's the minutes filling them, and they haven't filled it with anyone adequate in terms of defensive replacement. And unfortunately, because these guys aren't as good in front of those 2 goalies, it's sort of showing that these 2 goalies. They've been good these years. They're not great goalies. They're not elite goalies. They're not capable of carrying a team through bad and stealing games when the defensive structure breaks down. That's the issue. The defensive structure is breaking down more, and you got goalies not quite good enough to carry them and take them out of it. Adam, you there? I think Adam's frozen, but we got to wrap up anyway. If he joins us.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's no problem.
UK internet. I was just going to say, someone in the chat pointed out that the line on the over 5.5 has already shifted significantly. So yeah, hop on that one. I think I said I had it at 56%. So you can take it sub minus 110, and there's still value there. So don't be afraid to do that. But you can get it minus 107 bet online and minus 110 at Pinnacle still right now. So, but yeah, absolutely. We should wrap up, Ian. You're right.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Great discussion on this Saturday card. We threw in a couple other plays and games as well. Just to answer Geghard in the chat, which team is playing the best hockey right now? Bruins? No, it's the Islanders, in my opinion. The team we're back in tonight. Hopefully they can keep playing that great hockey tonight. But Boston is playing well. I give them credit with the injuries they've had. They've still been able to keep their head above water. A great job by Bruce Cassidy as well, coaching-wise, through some key injuries that the Bruins have had to deal with. Remember, Torrey Krug's been out now for a couple of weeks, and they've been able to keep winning with him out of the lineup as well. All right, so to recap, we are both, Adam and I, on the New York Islanders money line. tonight against San Jose as our NHL play of the day. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to our SBR NHL double play video. We will be back on Tuesday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern time with our next edition of the SBR NHL double play of the day video. For Adam Booth, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Good luck with your wagers. We'll see you again on Tuesday.